Hello everybody. Everything in this world has evolved and it continues to evolve. Companies are evolving and products too are evolving. The best example is of course the Royal Enfield Classic 350. Yes, this too has now evolved into a much better motorcycle. It gets, to begin with, the 349cc Meteor engine. Now that itself is a big thing. It's a beautiful engine. We just rode it a bit, but we'll explain a lot more. And so has the chassis been evolved into a new one. The suspension has been tweaked. A lot of new features have been added. We're going to talk about it. This is the Motown India show, and my name is Royal P. Tharyan. The new Classic 350 will be available in 5 new variants. Now this is the Classic Chrome. This costs around 2.15 lakh ex-showroom Chennai. And then there you have the Dark series, the Classic Signals, the Halcyon series, the Redditch series. The Royal Enfield new Classic 350 is powered by a 349cc air oil-cooled single-cylinder engine, which was of course launched recently on the Meteor. Now remember, this air oil-cooled engine means that it's got oil in its jacket, it's cooled by the oil which runs around it, and the most important part is that it's cooled by air. So if you get a closer look of the engine, you'll find the fins around it. That's what really cools as you move on the motorcycle. This is not a liquid cooled engine because liquid cooled engines have their own radiators. This 349cc petrol engine is fuel injected, and as I mentioned is air oil cooled, and this generates a power of around 20.2 bhp at around 6100 rpm and a peak torque of 27 newton meters at around 4000 rpm. This 349cc petrol engine is mated to a 5-speed gearbox, which ensures a decent acceleration on roads. And in fact, we notice that the gear shifts are pretty decent, in fact, pretty sleek. And when I'm talking about the gearbox and the engine, I cannot miss talking about the unmistakable thump of the exhaust note. Now, coming to the thump of the exhaust note, it is remarkable. This new Classic 350 also gets brand new handlebars. Thus, this makes the riding position very good. In fact, because it has been subtly tweaked, it has improved the comfort angle while you're riding. Thankfully, this new Royal Enfield Classic 350 also gets a USB charging point. In fact, if you notice it, it's on the left side of the handlebar and is mounted below the handlebar for the convenience of quick charging on the go. The bike also gets a modern touch with its new Digi analog instrument cluster that houses an LCD info panel. And then you have, of course, the turn-by-turn trip navigation pod. The Meteor has it, and so now the Classic 2 gets it, which is of course very convenient when you are riding long distances and to directions you are not very sure of. The good thing about this Classic Chrome is that it's quite premium looking, and this Classic Chrome series, this reflects the rich look and feel of, of course, the British motorcycles. The jeans are of course very British. You will notice that it's got a dual tone color tank, and the colors are chrome red and chrome bronze. And not to be missed are of course the striking tank badges that were adorned by the Royal Enfields of the 1950s. Yes, this bike has evolved, but it does instill a lot of nostalgia. Now, a very important point is that no matter how capable a vehicle is, how strong the engine is, you have to have a great seat. In fact, if the saddle is pathetic, your ride is pathetic. And in this new Classic 350, the saddle is oomph. It's really soft, and for many of us who have got a little bigger butt, it makes a lot of difference. I mean, it is really comfortable, and even when you touch it, you realize that is really soft. And when you sit on it, you realize you're riding a very comfortable bike. The seats are wide, they are soft foam cushion padding. This new Classic 350 gets an all-new chassis, which is of course built for better comfort and maneuverability. It is designed to be a lot more stiffer. That means when you are riding on those long stretches, I mean, you can actually feel it's planted and it's quite stable. The suspension too has been tweaked a lot, and this I could feel as I was riding. It was absolutely comfortable, especially when we went over bumps. We realized that it soaked in everything pretty neatly. In the front you have telescopic suspension on either side, and the rear you have coil spring shock absorbers. All in all, the new Royal Enfield Classic 350 has really evolved beautifully. This too has really moved from one level to a very exciting level. You have to ride it to really believe me.